This is akathecoot with a Cho'Gath jungle for beginner's guide. Cho'Gath is one of my favorite players to play without a doubt. His skill set is fantastic. I start out with Vorpal Spikes. It's a move that basically, when you hit an enemy monster or champion, it shoots out a bunch of spikes behind it that does damage in a small frontal AoE type of way. He has a Silence that shoots out in a cone. He also has Rupture, his most important move, shoots spikes out from the ground and knocks the target up into the air. And he also has a move in which he bites stuff for true damage, and it causes him to grow larger and gain a bunch of health, and a few other things. I believe armor, I'm not entirely too sure though. As you can see here, for those of you who don't jungle, I start blue with Cho'Gath. I believe everybody probably starts blue with Cho'Gath, but blue buff basically increases your mana regeneration by enough to where you can spam your spells without having to worry about running out of mana at any point. And from there, I go directly to the wolves. Once killing the wolves, I usually try and gank middle, try and get it nice and early once I get my second skill. Right here you can see I check off the river. I feel like I can get a much better spot behind him, so I go in behind Rise and land my Rupture, which makes it so Elise can get him. He does actually a really nice flash. I flashed him behind him, kind of wasted my flash there, but either way, secured the first blood. Got the mid champion off to a better start than what she would have had without me there, so worked out good. As you can see, I got counter jungled here, which sucks because I wanted to get my red buff, which does an AoE type of damage move when you're close to the enemy champion, if I'm not mistaken. From there, I go straight up top, trying to help out my top friend here. Land the Rupture without a problem, but we severely underestimate how tanky Mordekaiser is. He ends up getting away. I throw another Rupture at him just for fun. Once again, as a jungler, I mean, your job is to make sure that every lane should feel like they have a presence there at all times. I try to do a good job of poking in every once in a while just to let the other people know. Here again, you can see me hammer Rise. That move right there silences him, and me and Elise get another chance at a gank, but he runs to his tower and she doesn't want to take enough tower damage to get him, so either way, he's got to go back now, unless he's got things to heal, so that's quality work. I like to build Cho'Gath, tanky AP in the beginning. The first thing I usually go for after the standard jungling machete is I like to build a Rylai's, because it gives you AP, which scales really well with him, as well as health. And from there, I think he's a real situational character, so I don't really have a set build I go with. If I need him to be more tanky, I'll make him more tanky. If I want him to have more attack power, or excuse me, ability power, I'll get some ability power for him. Cho'Gath can be one of the more tanky characters in the game without a doubt. Here you can see we engaged these two after we were retreating a little bit. You gotta know when to go back. Elise definitely helped out a bunch there. She didn't have to come back, and I didn't signal her at all. It's just good communication. Another important thing I like to do when jungling, it's a little bit harder than most aspects of jungling, but counter jungling is great. Because I saw that Shyvana staying mid, I figured I'd go and take her red from her. You can win games controlling buffs, so try to get those as much as possible. And as I was saying earlier, you want to give every lane a fair shot at getting some kills. Here I see Graves just barely out of position, a little top, and decide to dive it on there. And Caitlyn does a really good job of going in there and securing the kill. At this point I got my 6, so you don't want to save your 6. A lot of people don't use it right away. It's great because it does true damage, which means that it'll do whatever the damage it says it'll do without any kind of armor being taken into consideration or resistance. So it does a lot of damage, but he can stack it up to 6 times if you eat anything, and it gets bigger, like I said, when it gets more health. So you want to get as powerful as you can. So that 6 stacks is really awesome. And it's hard to know when to stay in the jungle and keep leveling up, when to protect lanes. It's a good balancing act, but that's what makes jungle so fun. You really get to choose, where you want to be and get a good sense of controlling the game, the flow, and the timing of things. Here I harass Sona for no apparent reason. I know there's no way I can secure the kill, I don't have enough damage at this point, but it's fun to mess with people. And because there's no action anywhere else and nobody's out of position, go back into the jungle and try and level up. Securing those buffs and checking on everybody once in a while. Mordekaiser's way past the river at this point, so it shouldn't be a problem catching him out of position again. He gets another flash off, but Jesus has enough stopping power to really get him down there. Plus it's nice because I'm dueling with my friend Loki in this game, and it's always nice to have somebody you can trust as far as their skill level goes. So we get him a kill and he gets to yell out whammy stick a few more 100 times. Head back into the jungle here, see that bottom lane is doing good. We dove him the first time, I figure why not be able to dive him the second time. We get in there and I know I can take a bunch of tower hits, and Tarek does a great job of just soaking it all up. Unfortunately he dies, but both of those kills go to Caitlyn, which is awesome. Nothing like a fed carry. This is me kind of hoping that Caitlyn gets the memo, come over here and help. I didn't realize she didn't have a lot of health at the time, but that led to one of the greatest saves of all time. Bam! Saving lives every day. There should be a medical Cho'Gath. I kinda at that point also wanted to see how much damage Shyvana was actually doing. I was hoping she'd one-on-one me for a little bit there. I knew that I could get away and land enough ruptures where I wouldn't have to worry about her. Kind of a cockier thing to do, but it's always nice to test how powerful the other champions are if you have the time to do it. That way the next time we get into a team fight I'm not completely taken by surprise at how powerful she is. I don't play against a lot of Shyvanas, so. Since there's calmness in the map, head back into the jungle. You can never feed too much, that's for sure. Also, as a jungler, I don't really do it here, so kind of random, but you want to approach the lanes from different angles. You don't want to always come up the river or go down the river. You don't always want to come out of the same bush. You really want to mix it up. If you have to take one tower shot to get an awkward angle on somebody, taking the enemy champions by surprise is a real good way about going to get kills and just keeping them guessing, so they got to put wards in different places and stuff. You can make it hard on the support character to know where you're going to be and know where to put her wards or his wards, then that helps everybody out a bunch. Also, a lot of junglers don't do it, but I like to buy no wards. You can never have too many wards. Here we get to watch Loki go to town, dropping the whammy stick on people. And this is a good example of what one kill up top did. Then he got to farm his Q up, and next thing you know, he's scoring double kills before I can get there. I have no idea what Mordekaiser thinks he's doing at this point, but I yell at him and he runs away. I see that nobody's in position to really stop us from getting the dragon, so why not go in there? Caitlyn gets the message and she comes up and helps out. For those of you who are real new to the game, the dragon gives 150 gold out globally to everybody on your team. I believe it's 190 if you get the last hit on it, so that's real nice. It's basically like half a kill for everybody. And for those of you who don't know, there are plenty of avenues to take via cell phone or tablet, and you can get jungle timers. So that also works for Baron and the dragon or Drake. It's really nice to have if you can't keep track of the timer, you don't type the time into the message, you'll know when it's going to come back right after it dies, and you can make a move on it right away. As you can see, Cho'Gath is now huge. I believe I have all 6 stacks here, and we go and take their blue. At this point, I feel like I can roam through their jungle without too much threat from anybody, so we go in there and decide to do some work, take this tower out. Ryze is crazy and thinks he has a chance, so flashes away. I flash after him. And we go to town. Land that rupture, and here I realize this probably isn't the best position in the world. I got Sona beaten on me, with Mordekaiser beaten on me, and only Elise to help, so we get out of there, but probably should have went after that Sona. She took a lot of damage there. Hindsight. Elise, of course, goes beast mode here and makes me look foolish for running away, but she secures a kill, and we end up getting this tower. After Rylai's, I usually go for the Frozen Mallet or the Frozen Heart. Cooldown reduction on Cho'Gath is it's really nice to have. And Elise continues her rampage. I throw up a terrible rupture. Check out the range of my, I believe it's a Feral Scream, and go in there again. Like I said, that rupture is a game changer. If you can land that thing enough, then you will get kills. Here we don't have any minions, so we decide to go back to the jungle. It's a tough lesson to learn when to back off from a situation. Especially when there's, a dragon on the board. There's no reason why you shouldn't go pick up dragon, clear the buffs out. At this point, we're winning pretty much every engagement we go into, so there's no reason why we shouldn't be counter jungling and just pushing the lanes out. Try to do the smart thing every once in a while. At this point, I'm not afraid of 1v2ing or 2v3ing. In this particular case, 3v3ing. I don't feel like anything can kill me right away. I'll always have an out at this point. If, however, you do die, which I don't think I do in this particular video, but if you do die with Cho'Gath, then bit the hell out of that guy. Then his stacks do cut in half. So if you had 6 stacks, obviously it goes to 3, and you lose whatever bonuses those 3 were giving you. It always seems like the other team has flash on a lower cooldown than me. I flash away from everything. And if you play Cho'Gath well enough, they'll talk about you on the big screen. Once again here, I didn't have enough health to be anywhere near engaging this guy, and they're so scared at this point about getting killed by people hiding in bushes that I feel comfortable enough to just port back in the middle of the map. Finish an item and go back to work. Oh, just so everybody's aware, masteries that I use are at the end of this page. They'll probably be at the end every single time. I post an LOL video, so if you guys are interested in masteries, those are there. And I don't post items because there's too many websites with too many diamond rated players and platinum rated players that can tell you what items to use. And definitely not the best source of information for the items to use. I'm still learning just as much as everybody else. Picked up a kill a little earlier there. At this point, we're just pretty much running through there. Loki's beating the heck out of people with his Q and landing ruptures on everyone. Take out their inhibitor. At this point, I'm almost positive we were going to win the game, so wasn't a whole lot of pressure or anything, but always be concentrating on the objective, trying to get this tower down, trying to keep Savannah off everybody. We do so much damage at this point, they don't even really need me. So just stand by and try and scare everybody off away from everything and win the game. So that's Cho'Gath in a nutshell. If you guys have any questions, feel free to post it in the comments section and like and subscribe if you would like to. Once again, this is akathecoot with a Cho'Gath jungle for beginners.